There it is. Test, test. What's going on, everybody? This is another episode of the Brian Turner Basketball Podcast, and I think we're gonna have some fun with this one. So I'm just gonna let pretty much everything kind of get situated. Man, I got a lot of stuff going on over here as far as with my whole little setup and my whole little hookup. So just bear with me for a second. Trying some things out. And as you can see, I got my WWE Attitude cap on and my Bloodline t-shirt. So it's gonna kind of play into the episode a little bit because man, I'm still on a little emotional high, man, from last Saturday, and I'm gonna touch on it just a little bit. But man, I had an opportunity to go see the Royal Rumble at the Dome at America Center. And man, had a crazy time, amazing time. So I got that going on, and I also kind of wanna kind of circle back around and kind of continue the conversation with some things that me and my former teammate Melvin Dale kind of spoke on just a little bit last week pertaining to relationships, and excuse me, not just in the relationship sense of boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife relationship, but just relationship of overall, just surrounding yourself around good people, and it could be either, good or bad, but just basically the relationships that you have with your friends, with your siblings, with your parents, with your coworkers. And is it beneficial for you? And are you being a pretty much like a service to them? If someone was to ask, what is your relationship like for them, what would they say? And so I kind of want to touch on that a little bit, throw in a few little nuggets of some things that I've been reading and I kind of study and I kind of, kind of go over. But I think it can really apply to for folks, just your overall productivity just in life. So I kind of get off into that just a little bit, but this is not going to be long. I kind of want to just chime in and kind of do my own little recap, because as the week goes on, you start to hear, people talk about the different experiences that they had as far as what happened last week with wrestling. And it's funny that, we had an amazing week of football, NFL football. We had an amazing week of just college basketball, college sports, NBA, and then to cap it off with wrestling. And I know, we always say the Brian Turner Basketball Podcast, but how funny will it be, man, to where I can get to a point where I can just take the basketball off of it and just kind of touch on pretty much all different type of topics in sports. And so I can't wait to get to that point. But as of right now, we can kind of keep it in the same vein of just talking hoops, and then how does the basketball game apply to the game of life? Because that's been my overall theme once I jumped on the YouTube and started doing the podcast, and even with just sports or athletics in general, how does that carry over into your everyday to day life? I kind of want people to kind of understand that, and that's pretty much why I do this, to kind of shine some light on some different things and let myself be a service to whoever's listening. And by the grace of God, if I can get one person that's listening that can take heed to some of the messages and some of the things that I talk about, I kind of apply that in my whole coaching aspect too. Not every kid that you're going to get a chance to coach will have aspirations of playing college basketball, professional basketball. But at the same time, if you can just reach them and they can use the tools that you taught them every day in practice, and then all of a sudden you get that phone call to where, hey coach, I'm gonna invite you to my wedding. Hey coach, I'm gonna invite you to, stop by this business that I start. I mean, that right there makes me so proud. So let's just jump right into it. So kind of picking off of that same topic. As you all know, man, we were blessed to have the Royal Rumble here in St. Louis last week, and man, I can just remember being 8 or 9 years old and watching WWE, WWF, for those that or been around since the 80s, watching this stuff. And people used to always just be like, and I told this on a couple shows too, that when I first started off, my dreams was to become a wrestler, not a basketball star, not getting into it for any other reasons, but just the artistry and the pageantry of just watching folks on TV week in and week out. And back then it was primetime wrestling challenge. They used to come on Saturdays and Sundays. You had Saturday night main event. You had WCW. You had NWA. And for those who are, my uncle's generation and some folks that are a little older remember wrestling at the Chase that was based out of St. Louis. So, I mean, we have a rich history of wrestling here in St. Louis. And for those who are just now picking up on it, kind of, forgot about it, probably watched it when they were young. We all get old and life hits us and we're not able to kind of indulge in a lot of different things that we were able to do it as children. And so it wasn't until my son was born, and my wife used to always give me crap about it as far as she didn't want us watching it when he was real young, starting school off. Because, I mean, it just was the fear of, just having having him go to the playground and try those wrestling moves out because, that's pretty much how we grew up. A mattress, a bed, setting up a ring, setting up a fortress. And then you just go out and try to do every move that you saw. Whoever was the champion at the time, you tried to do every single move that you can think of, not knowing that, you can actually break your neck doing these things. And so it's funny when I heard people always say, man, wrestling is fake. And it's known stories of people that's done broke their back, broke their neck, fractured all different type of bones, just doing that profession. So actually, again, starting off, man, as a young teenager, as a young kid, that's all I wanted to do. And for those who knew me growing up, man, they can pretty much say that was my thing, And so it wasn't until maybe my son was probably like about 7, 8 or 9 to where we started really, really getting back into it. And it's nothing like seeing your loved ones into things that you're into. And that's pretty much where we're at right now as far as, man, everybody kind of like just dove right into it. And it's kind of like a sort of an outlet for me because, I mean, as you all know, man, being around, education, being around basketball, those things can kind of wear on you, especially if you base things off of how your kids play. And so sometimes you need an outlet to kind of, get away for a second to be able to come back into even just the real world. And I mean, you can do it with anything that you watch. I mean, I know some people that, man, are crazy about, man, every TV show that come on as far as, Power to, anything that's on HBO, like they're into it. That's their, their way to kind of decompress. And so this has always been my thing to kind of like get away from it, because if I sit and watch a basketball game, it just, I'm constantly just, thinking back to the things that we can improve on as a team to try to get better. And I don't want to overkill myself and overkill my thoughts constantly thinking about these things. So that's pretty much how the whole concept of just me kind of just using this to kind of decompress and being around my loved ones. And even when I come home, is sometimes the conversation is never really about work or about sports or about performance or anything like that. It's about, hey, what did you see what happened on wrestling, or what's the latest gossip that we can find out to kind of entertain ourselves with these guys. So 2022 Royal Rumble was just crazy. So the way that it started off, if you guys haven't been down to the American Center at the Dome, and it's kind of like a ghost town, and seeing the Rams make it to the Super Bowl this week, man, you talking about somebody that was just pissed, because I remember taking Nate to the last official game that we had at the Dome and just seeing how, on Sundays, how you can just see, you drive down 70 And I mean, all of the sponsors are up on top of the top of the dome, and you drive by there, you could just see everything lit up and just a vibrant downtown. Well, we went down there this weekend, and it was just kind of like, man, just it kind of reminds me a little bit, if you guys remember, when the St. Louis Center was open. Man, just being down at the center every weekend, Union Station every weekend, going to the mall every weekend when we were teenagers, and then to see the decline of something like that when the shops started to leave, people not coming around, and it's just kind of like it's a ghost town. So that was the vibe when I first pulled in down there. But then once I started to see, man, all the people get out with the dressed up with the whatever gimmick that they could think of, with the t-shirts and the sweatshirts, and everybody had their belt, everybody had something that just resembled one of their favorite wrestlers, and it just was like, man, it's really about to go down. So I think the final attendance inside the dome was 44,000. So I mean, 44,000 people, and I think some of the Rams, I mean, it was meant to hold maybe 60,000, but man, 44,000 just cheering, screaming loud. So when we first got in there, we're sitting real close, not too far from the ring, and man, you started to see all of the people you see every week on TV just walking by. You started to see, people hollering and screaming, and everybody knew that they had the insight on who was going to win, what was going on backstage, who was going to be the surprise guest. And I was just taking in the moment. Happy to be there. Shout out to all of the WWE Universe fans that were down there. And you know how exciting it was and how fun it was. And so, again, it's just like just being a kid all over again. So it really didn't hit me until, the first match that they came out with was Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. And they used to be in a group. And so it was so funny to see that Seth Rollins decided to come through the crowd. As soon as he started coming through the crowd, you saw everybody turn, face that way, and it was just like a dart right over there to just see if you can get over there, to just walk in front of him, to cheer for him, to get right there close. And so I had my camera out. We ran over there. And then as soon as he walked past, it was just like, man, this dude, I mean, he's no bigger than me. And I'm like, man, I could have really been a wrestler. That was my first thought, seeing this guy walk by. But the things that these guys do, man, once they get into there, man, it's just a great performance. And so that kicked it off. And I think I probably lost my voice probably by like the first two matches. Really got excited when the Women's Royal Rumble started. And you can just hear the chatter in the crowd as far as, oh, man, this person is going to come out. That person is going to come out. And so we all knew, we kind of had a feeling that Ronda Rousey was going to be one of the participants. And so me and a couple buddies that were kind of sitting right by there was like, look, this person could win, but if she comes, she's not coming to lose. And so we just sat back down, started counting each time that they had a countdown. We listened to it, countdown, and before you know it, they played our song and she came out. And when I say the place went crazy, man, it was just like the loudest sound you could think of. And people just started acting a fool. And so when she came out, it was just like, it was huge. And so we knew that she was probably going to win right then and there. So great experience to be able to see her come back, man. The excitement that comes back with the women's division. I was just, I was real happy that, it makes it more interesting now to see her compete and to know that she's back in the picture for the women's. Now, on the men's side, I'm a big Bobby Lashley fan. I'm a big Roman Reigns fan too, but at the same time, it was just like, man, seeing these two guys, man, just finally get in the ring was just like amazing because for those that don't know, both of these guys were MMA fighters. I think Bobby Lashley may have had an undefeated streak in the time that he was in MMA. Brock Lesnar, as you all know, was the heavyweight champion of the world. And then he ended up losing his title and then came back to wrestle. So he was a collegiate wrestler first, did the professional wrestling, and then jumped into UFC, MMA, and was the UFC heavyweight champion and ended up losing his title, and then came back to the WWE. When he came back to the WWE, was a monster, stayed a monster. Nobody could actually beat him in a legit fight, and everybody knew it. So they always had to find ways to, put the title on him, take the title off of him. And so this last little go around, he's been a baby face, pretty much like a good guy. And Bobby Lashley, on the other hand, has been pretty much a fan favorite for everyone who's kind of caught up on the Hurt Business. And last year he had a great run. And I mean, it just looked like $1 million, man. You just see this seasoned veteran. I think he may be close to 50 years old, but this, when I see these guys work out, it makes me want to put up, an extra plate on the bench when it's time to work out, man, just to see, man, that if I can strive to be like that in my 50s, then that's my motivation to kind of get like how this guy is, man, Bobby Lashley. So they fought, and then you had an interference that Roman Reigns came in, big tie-up or whatever, and they ended up taking the title off of Brock Lesnar, which, seeing that, I was just like, well, he's going to win the Royal Rumble now. And it wasn't any question that they take the title off of him for him to be able to win it so he can get his shot back at Roman Reigns. So overall, man, like I said, if you guys are big wrestling fans, man, just Google this type of stuff. This is a great time to be in it because you have two promotions that are going right now on TV, AEW, WWE, and it's fun all over again. So leading off into that kind of, I want to transition into what I kind of want to talk about as far as my message. And again, it's just about building positive relationships and spending time with the people that you love and making sure that those relationships are just meaningful just throughout your life. Like, I mean, we getting much older, well, for myself, but we're in a time in a day and age where, certain things shouldn't bother you and certain people you shouldn't be around. And it goes back to what I was talking about with one of my last messages as far as like valuing your time and not letting people come into your life that's going to waste your time. And so speaking into that, I felt like being a part of wrestling this weekend, for those that don't know, Reggie was one of the 24/7 champions, and it's a kid from St. Louis that I had a pleasure of knowing this young man, since he was 14 years old, 15 years old, all the way through high school. And hopefully that I made a good impression on this young man's life to where he just kind of knew that it's things that are just bigger than North St. Louis, things that are just bigger than St. Louis, things that are just bigger than the state of Missouri. And that's all we used to preach about and talk about as coaches, coaching that group. And I think Sydney might have graduated class of 2010 with my younger cousin, and just being around that group at Beaumont High School, man, was just, man, some fun times. I used to go pick up the kids in like a sunshine van, and this was the time where I was just, man, still out here partying, living life, and would just take the time to spend time with these guys that I'm coaching and showing them the way of, look, take care of your body, work out, find out what your purpose is in life. And once you find out what your purpose is, you steer your lifestyle to what that purpose is. And that was just some advice that, the OGs and a bunch of my uncles and older people in the neighborhood would always just tell me was, once you have a purpose, go in that direction. And whatever happens from that, is the sky's the limit. So I say that to say, and we're talking about relationships, but I made a deposit into that young man's life when he was 14, 15 years old, just as far as the basketball court. And I very vividly remember after one game, Sidney was, man, he was a real energetic type kid, man, with just, full of energy, full of energy. And he would just hit flips right in front of us. We could be in a huddle, we could be talking, we can be around people, and all of a sudden this guy just fly out of nowhere hitting a flip. And I used to be like, man, like, and at the time I didn't know how talented this kid was as far as with the tumbling and the flips. And I remember pulling him to the side, and I was just like, Sidney, like, you got to just be careful with that, because if that's your money maker and the thing, and that's something that you do, you shouldn't just put that on display for anybody. People should have to pay for that. So in other words, just me telling him to just value a God-given gift, and don't let everybody just see that just because you just feel like you want to do that. Kind of harness that and put that into some energy that's going to help you out long term. And again, I didn't know how serious this kid was as far as with tumbling, and it wasn't until we were about to go play a game, and it was at the time it was she was a lady that you could just tell she was just all about her business, and she just kept saying like, look, hey, I need this kid for, she gave out all these dates, and we just like, Sidney, this kid, really? You need him for whatever? And at the time he was traveling in the circus, and we just was like in awe that, that this kid was actually taking something very, very serious, and an opportunity that his peers probably had other opportunities to do things, but he focused his energy and put his energy into that and honing his craft to the point where these people were making sure that no matter what, he was going to be a part of this production and a part of, this entertainment field right after he graduated. And so I'm not pretty sure, probably not too long after that. I mean, he finished up playing. I know he loved basketball with a passion, but his moneymaker was his God-given gift to be, creative and energetic, to be able to tumble and flip. And he ended up having a great career in the circus. And I remember him just coming to St. Louis whenever he would perform. Me and my family would go and just, cheer him on. But making those small deposits into a young man's life at that age, we are able to still have a conversation and have a relationship and be able to pick back up when, if someone is out of your life for 3 or 4 or 5 years, we can just pick right back up and just remember those good times. And so I wanted my message just to be about that. And then it was pretty much about the relationship bank account. And you say, Coach Turner, man, BT, man, what's the relationship bank account? So Steven Covey came out with a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it's pretty much, I think they got 2 or 3 versions of it. 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, Highly Effective Kids. And so I teach a course at St. Mary's where it's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. And so what I try to get across to a lot of my students is just that, you have to be in a position where you're building bridges and not knocking bridges down, and you're not burning bridges up. What does that mean? Okay, you may not see the value in maybe your freshman year English teacher or your freshman year social studies teacher. You may not see the value in that, but as you get old and as you mature throughout life, people are going to have that impression, and they're going to know that at some point in time, we've had a relationship with you. And then what are people going to say about you as you get older? And if you continue to do the exact same things that you did when you was a freshman, or the exact same things that you did when you were real young, are they able to say the same thing about you? Or is there some type of growth that people can be able to see and say, man, I remember when that person was like this and now he's like this, and it's just like a bank account. I can't just go to the bank and just say, hey, let me put my card in and take out $10,000 or $5,000. I'm not able to do that unless I got $10,000 or $5,000 in a bank. And so I always try to express that You have to be able to make small deposits into people, into relationships, because you never know when you're going to need somebody. You never know when you're going to need to be able to call. You have to call on somebody to help you out. And again, it's just like I said, life is just about relationships. You know, spending time with the people that you love and spending time with the people that you enjoy, just being around. And so, you have to be able to make small deposits into those people that you come in contact with, because again, you never know when you have to pull that out of them, or you never know when you have to ask someone for help. So it's just funny that we tie in the WWE, we tie in with relationships and bank accounts, and I'm just so proud of Sydney and quote unquote the WWE Reggie, for where he's came from to where he's at now. And it's funny that all of this comes back full circle, because I remember being the kid that wanted to be a wrestler growing up, and to have a student that I coached, a young man that I was able to be in his life, for him to be able to reach that goal, man, it's amazing. It's amazing. And it had nothing to do with basketball, but it was about relationships and about people. Just being able to just be encouraging, say encouraging words to that young man at a young age, to where he can continue to try to perfect his craft. I think, that makes me feel good as a coach, and I'm proud of him to this day. But again, it's just like, when you think about yourself and the relationships that you have, maybe again with your friends, with your siblings, with your parents, what can they say about you? Is the relationships that they have with you, is it beneficial to them, or is it a withdrawal? Again, because we talk about the bank account, and we talk about deposits, making small deposits into people. But when you come around, do people look at you as you're being the person that is taking withdrawals from them? And we all know what happens once you take way too many withdrawals from the bank. You start getting that overdraft charge that you didn't took too many withdrawals out, and you have nothing else left in. And we all know it's been times where people can either do things to where it's just like, nah, man, I can't help you out this time. You didn't just took too many chances and took too many withdrawals from folks, to where nobody wants to help you out, and that's a bad position and a bad place to be in. And it could take some time. And so you say, hey, how are you able to repair some of those relationships, or improve some of those relationships? And the best thing that I can tell you is time. Time can heal all wounds, and time is going to be able to help you improve those relationships. And you can't speed that up. It can't be just on your time. Some people do things to folks, man, and it may take years to repair some of those relationships or those bridges that you burnt down. And I just try my best to walk around and to look at people and to try to give off a certain aura and a certain energy, to where that I can feel like I can help people, be a servant to them. And again, that's pretty much why we in the profession, or I'm in the profession that I'm in right now, as far as being a coach and an educator, and making sure that any knowledge that I have, man, just give it back. And that's pretty much what I'm doing right now, even with me being in front of the camera. A lot of times people are not able to see me in this type of environment, or this type of light, to where I'm able to kind of express myself. So again, this is just I feel like me being able to serve someone who may be going through some things, that may need to improve some relationships that they kind of messed up on, or feel like they've kind of bridges that they've burnt down, and they want to kind of repair those relationships with people. and you can. It's just gonna take some time. And for one, it's just small acts of kindness. I mean, right then and there. You know, it's nothing like just being able to just call somebody or just, say you're sorry for some things that you may feel like, if that person didn't know that because you guys haven't talked in a while, be the bigger person. When we pick up our phones, people think that phone only works one way. That phone works both ways. Just like somebody can call you, you can call out on that phone and you can reach out to people, small acts of kindness, just telling people, hey man, I was just thinking about you, haven't talked to you in a while, man. Just you was on my mind. Hey, how you doing? I hope you're blessed. Whenever you get some time or whenever you free, let's link up. Just little things like that, man, makes people feel so good. The fact that, man, this person was just thinking about me. I try to have a list of all of my coaches' addresses and email addresses, and every Christmas or every birthday, man, send them a Christmas card, send them a holiday card, just to let them know, hey man, I'm just thinking about you. Hey, how you doing? Me calling some of my old coaches that used to coach me back in middle school or 8th grade. Hey, how you doing? Hey, you still in the game? You still coaching? Hey, whenever you get some time, hey, I got this idea of, maybe you may want to, just like you was beneficial for me growing up, maybe you want to coach one of these teams that I know may need some help, because I hold you in a great light that you was able to help me out. Man, you need to get that knowledge back to some younger kids growing up too. So doing things like that, I think can help improve relationships that have maybe been kind of hindered over the years. Another thought that sometimes I think people, man, take for granted is, man, sometimes you have to do a self-inventory, kind of take a step back and look at the relationships that you have in your life right now. And again, see, are these people in your life to help you, or they in your life to see your downfall? And we all know it's people out here that are just sitting around just waiting until you slip, until you fall. And they can just be like, oh man, I told you so. Oh man, I knew he wasn't like that. I knew that this was gonna happen. Just take inventory, man. Take inventory of what you have going on. The people that are around you. Like I said, just we all sit around and we think about trying to improve ourselves, but a lot of times we can improve ourselves with just we can add by subtracting. And I think that's a big key for improving relationships. If I know that you only in my life for this reason, okay, I can play you accordingly, and I can have you in my life for that reason. There's nothing wrong with using people. There's nothing wrong with being used. It's the misuse that people don't understand. I want you to use me. I want you to use me up. Use me as a sponge, but don't misuse me. Don't misuse me. That's something that you can't do in your relationships. Use people as much as you can. Use people, and I'm pretty sure there's some folks out there that are listening that can understand that concept. Use me, but don't misuse me. And like I said, that the key to mastering relationships is just mastering yourself. And making sure you understand where you stand at in life, making sure you understand where you stand at in relationships. So that's something that I think that inventory can kind of help you with, as far as moving forward with yourself. But man, I'm not gonna hold everybody up. But I feel like this was a great conversation. I hope I dropped some nice little nuggets on you, for you to, like I say, help improve your day-to-day life, help improve your whatever that you're going through. If you can use it, use it. If you feel like this was beneficial, make sure that you hit that thumbs up button, and make sure that you share this. If for the folks listening to it by audio, making sure that you share it, you listen, give me some feedback, give me some review comments, whether if it's on Spotify, Apple, any streaming service, man, drop a comment, man, whether if you like it or not. Man, BT, man, you need to stop doing this. You need to stop doing that. Talking like just give me all that type of information. I love that type of feedback. But again, if you're looking at any relationships in your life that you've always came on the other side and feel like it's being negative, look no further than yourself. If it's one of them situations where you're like, man, I got a problem with this person, I got a problem with that person, I got a problem with this person, man, 9 times out of 10, man, it's probably you. You need to check yourself and kind of wonder, like, man, why am I having all these problems with all these different people? Maybe it's me. So, but I feel like this was a good video. This was a good chat. For those that don't know, follow me on all social medias, whether if it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I got some good things coming up. I think we rolled out and we introduced. Moving forward, I'm gonna be doing a podcast with a couple fellas, couple buddies. Shout out to the guys in the man cave. I can't wait to get that started. Man, them guys go hard in the paint when it comes to talking sports. And again, man, we got the Rams and we got the Bengals coming up in the Super Bowl. I know we got a lot of people out there that are rooting against the Rams, but man, like I say, I'm from the greatest show on turf, man. I went to the last Rams game that they had in St. Louis. Man, if they win it, we all win it. That's how we got to look at it. Shout out to the Rams. Okay. Yeah, hit me up, man. And again, be safe out there, man. This is the time of the year where it gets super duper cold, man. We got crazy storms on the forecast, making sure that you move swiftly and move smoothly outside as far as taking care of yourself, and make sure you work your hardest, man, to be blessed. Be blessed when you wake up, and try your best to earn each sunset, making sure that you get something done each day that you're here. So shout out to everybody that's listening. Thank you for your time, and I'm out.